Welcome to the Voxwomen cycling show, coming to you from South Africa.
Coming up in this month's show, we've got racing, tips, interviews and news from sunny South Africa, the UCI Cyclocross World Cup and the launch of a new women's row team. First up, we're off to Johannesburg. Hello, Voxwomen are here in South Africa for Momentum 94.7. This is the first African race in history to be awarded UCI 1.1 status, and the largest ever women's peloton will be taking to the start line. Tomorrow, 21 women's teams will be fighting it out for UCI points, including Biglas Pro Cycling, Liv Planteur and Team Tibco. This morning, it's a Twitter ride. There are plenty of women out here already. There's going to be the biggest women's peloton in the event's history.
Yeah, it's incredible, and I think it's a really great opportunity for us all to come and race in South Africa.
So the sun is shining and there are plenty of people coming out here on their bikes. I guess a sort of training ride before the main event tomorrow. How are you feeling this morning?
Well, it's early, but it's nice to be out, and you don't even feel it's early if you're going out with so many people and the sun is out. So the point of the Twitter ride is obviously for us to be able to interact with some of the other people that will be riding the race tomorrow. So it's a really great opportunity, being so long away from South Africa, racing in Europe, to come back home and to have the opportunity to interact with some of the fans that support me while I'm away. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And of course, Liv Planteur are helping out a development rider. They're giving you the opportunities that perhaps you didn't have over in Cape Town. How important and special is this?
It's a great opportunity, so I would like to say thank you to Planto and Velokaya. Without them, I don't think I would be here.
I'm so winning today.
You know, it is just a training ride, right?
Yes, yeah, but I'm so pumped for this. No, we do it every year and it's good fun, and it just builds some camaraderie amongst the riders.
This is the perfect example what cycling can do, what a bike can do. It brings people together and brings people together from all over the world. Men, female, young, older, everybody is out here today to have fun.
So it's all over. How did you enjoy the ride?
The ride was fun. We had fun with meeting a lot of people.
I think it's very important, not only for myself but for all the youth of South Africa as well, to be involved in certain events like this, so that, I mean, it's unbelievable, and for them it's obviously a huge inspiration, so I think it's brilliant.
Oh, I loved it. It was, before we started, Mariana Vos was in front of us and I was so excited.
I was just actually saying today after the ride, I was like, it's a bit of a tough ride. But you know what? I don't cycle for the ride anymore. I cycle for this, for the people, for the community, for the friendships that you have developed. It's really, really great.
South Africa's own Ashleigh Moolman Pasio caught up with us later that afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I got into cycling much later in life. So I was studying chemical engineering at Stellenbosch University, and I met my husband, Carl Pasio, there, and he was a pro triathlete at the time. And you know, having quite tight schedules with the engineering, it's a demanding course. I couldn't do the normal sports that I usually did, so hockey practice times, I couldn't make the team practices, so I started to dabble with endurance sports. I tried triathlon. I'm a hopeless swimmer. I can swim, but not fast, and then running, I'm a good runner, but I had a lot of running injuries, and that's what forced me to focus mainly on the bike, and it just went, the growth was exponential from there, and won't ever look back. Carl, my husband, is incredibly involved in my career. He is the guy that got me onto the bike, and from the word go, realized my potential, and really helped me to grow and to realize my full potential. And still to this day, I mean, he trains with me most days. He's been very involved in the Biglas team. So yeah, he's very much part of my journey, and it's really wonderful to have him behind me. Society doesn't always agree. The man is usually the one that takes the forefront, and the woman is the supportive role. So I think Carl is an incredibly strong man to be able to put my career first and to be there by my side supporting me. Heading into 2016, Rio is my biggest goal, of course. So all the plans will be made in such a way that my biggest peak can come in August for the Rio Games. But of course the spring campaign will also be important, because the points are still important for Rio up until the end of May. Off the bike, to relax, I think I love to just, we do so much traveling all around the world, and just to take some time, to have some quiet time in the beautiful places that we travel to, and especially in Spain, where we live close to a lake, Biglas Lake, and that's my favorite place to go. At the end of a hard training day, to go down to the lake, to have a nice swim, just to be out in the nature and to enjoy the people and the vibe, and some tapas and maybe a glass of wine occasionally is also nice. And also, for me, I have spent a lot of time at altitude this year. Altitude has become a huge part of my training, and I absolutely love being in the mountains. It's just so refreshing for body, mind and soul. So just appreciating where I am in the world is what I like to do. Religion or faith for me is incredibly important. It really helps me especially when the going gets tough. When you're facing the challenges. Like, for example, when I started went pro in 2010, I broke my collarbone 3 times in the space of 12 months, and the only way that I could keep pushing through and coming back is believing that those kind of things happen for a reason. So I definitely believe that I'm on the journey, and that my future is known, and that I'm just enjoying the ride and helping others along the way by sharing my story.
We'll have more from South Africa later in the show, but now our top tips this month come to you from British time trial champion Hayley Simmons.
I'm Hayley Simmons. I started cycling in 2011, and since then have lost quite a lot of weight, and obviously kind of progressed to a pretty good level this year, becoming British national time trial champion. So I've got 5 tips for getting race fit for you. The first one is to find a goal that motivates you. So I think that it's easier to train and kind of stick to what is sometimes a pretty hard training schedule if you really have a goal to aim for, whether that be a sportif that you want to ride, or a race that you want to do well in, or just something like that. Then it's a lot easier to push yourself if you've got a goal in mind that you're training for. My second top tip would be find a diet that works for you. So nutrition is really important in cycling, but it's often quite personal, and some things that work for some people might not work so well for others. My third tip is recovery. So if you're going to get the most out of your training, you really need to make sure that you're kind of in the best place, and sometimes that means knowing when to take recovery. So balance the tough training days with lots of sleep, naps if possible, so reverting to childhood and getting in those 3-hour naps in the middle of the day if you have time, and just really know when to kind of take a rest and stop pushing your body really hard, because otherwise you'll just exhaust yourself. My fourth tip is variety. So in my training plan, I have progression, so I don't do the same thing every week. A lot of the sessions are very similar, but each week is a little bit different, and I don't do the same session day in, day out. It keeps you interested, it keeps you motivated, and at the end of the day, it'll make you a better all-round cyclist if you mix and match sessions and don't always stick to the same thing. My fifth and final tip is really about communication. So finding someone you can talk to, whether that be a coach that you can get training plans or advice from, people to go out riding with, or to talk to about what training they might be doing to get some tips and some other advice. So yeah, find people to talk to.
Stay tuned, we'll be back after the break. Now it's time for the Vox Diary of the Month.
Hello, my name is Sarah Olsen. I'm a Swedish pro cyclist riding for Makers Pro Cycling. Today it's raining outside, and yesterday it was below 0, which means the roads are quite slippery, which means I'm not going outside riding. So I figured you guys might want to know what I do instead. So this is the room that I use during the winter when I'm not going outside or going to the gym. It's as you can see, I've got some things here that you can use. Plus the most important thing, my little cycling corner where I have my indoor bike, and this is where I spend a lot of hours during the winter. So what keeps me motivated when I'm up here riding my bike? For example, I've got this. Tålamod is patience. Focus is, of course, focus. And bestämdhet is determination. And that's 3 words that keeps me motivated during the winter and keeps me thinking of next year. Another thing that keeps me motivated when I'm up here is music. I probably couldn't live without it. So except for getting stronger and better indoors, there's another positive thing that comes in the spring, and that's when you get out on the road bike for the first time in good weather. Then that's the most amazing feeling in the world.
Hey, look where I am. Rapha Cycling Cafe in London for an exciting new launch. What's it all about?
We are here at the new Canyon, SRAM and Rapha team launch to find out what all the excitement is about.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, I think we have a pretty strong international lineup of talent and experience. And they have all one thing in common. They love cycling, they love racing. It will be all about the team, and this is what my philosophy is as well. It's the team stands above all.
Was it a hard decision to choose to leave United Healthcare to come here?
It's quite hard. I mean, it's been a really good team. I've been there for 2 years and I made some really good friends. But they always knew that I wanted to come back here, and it was kind of my aim for this season to come back to Europe. So no, it was really sad leaving them, but it's the right decisions.
And as a woman of style and fashion, how excited are you for having Canyon, SRAM and Rapha as the sponsors?
I'm incredibly excited. You just have to look at the part and it's like, it's going to be very, very cool. Yeah, I love it, to be able to wear like nice casual clothing as opposed to your typical boring tracksuits that a lot of the teams sort of ultimately, head towards. It's going to be nice to come to races and feel like, you're a little bit stylish as opposed to, oh great, I have to wear a tracksuit again. So we've always been, I hope, leading the way with women's cycling. We've always had massive global events like Women's 100, Braver Than the Elements. So we want to show that we can support women at every level of the cycling journey, whether it's, people who are just literally getting onto a bike for the first time, all the way through to these pro peloton girls.
We're very fortunate to have worked with most of these women before over the past 4 years or so, and we've become really grateful for their feedback, and it's the kind of relationship you like to have with a team and a rider.
It's very exciting for us because we believe in women's cycling and we believe in racing, and this team brings it all. And we're super excited to what we do with the men's teams to bring this to women's professional cycling.
We are here at the very wet and windy cold terrain of Belgium for the iconic Cockside cyclocross round of the World Cup. Let's go and chat to some of the riders ahead of the race. So Katie, big race for you today. What can you tell us about the course you've got coming up?
Well, the course is really hard today. It's half it's mud and half it's sand, so it's heavy on pretty much everywhere you go. The wet actually makes the sand slightly easier to ride through, so that's good. But the mud's really tough, so it's going to be a hard, heavy race, and it's probably going to rain halfway through, so it'll be exciting.
It is sand. And even though it's rained, there's one section of mud and the rest of it is sand. And that's maybe 200 metres long. So on a 2.5 kilometre circuit, it's more about what you can do in the non-mud section, really.
So Christina, we're used to seeing you on the road, riding along with Lizzie. How is it now for you, being in cyclocross, you know, riding for yourself on such a fantastic race?
Yeah, it's a big contrast from the road. I'm pretty happy the team is backing me up with some nice bikes and mechanics. So yeah, I'm actually pretty happy to be here. It's not my specialty, the sand, so I'll try to do the best out of it.
It's just really epic to watch, I think, because it's so easy to crash. There's so many, it's so easy to make something look like it's easy when it's actually super hard to ride.
It's pretty amazing, especially racing here, because like it is such a cool course and it's so different than most cross courses we get to ride. So it's definitely a little crazy, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of drunk people out there, but as long as they're cheering and having fun, that's the whole point.
Who's going to be one of the main contenders today?
Sana Kant is obviously the sand specialist, and she's on fine form and she's winning everything, so I think she's going to be hard to beat for anyone.
36 riders took to the start line despite the tough conditions. Race favourite Sana Kant didn't get the best of starts and was outside the top 10 as the riders hit the sand. Sophie de Boer took the lead, but was caught halfway round the first lap by Compton, Harris, Kant and Van Looy. Kant made a decisive move at the start of the second lap, building up a lead of 14 seconds, which no one was able to close. Harris started to gain on Kant in the final lap, but as the race was shortened due to conditions, the British rider ran out of time and Kant stormed to victory.
So I am here with the whole Nikki Harris crew who have come to support her today. You've come all this way. How was it today watching Nikki and come second?
Absolutely amazing. She's done fantastic. Yeah, it's really good, yeah. It was really hard, but I actually felt really good today, so I tried to make the most of it. I was just a bit gutted because at the end it was only like 9 seconds behind Sana, and I'm sure if we had another lap I might have got closer to her and could have fought a little bit more for the win, but that's racing.
Voxwomen are taking to the skies to see Johannesburg and Momentum 94.7 from above. Momentum 94.7 is the second largest mass participation bike race in the world, and 33,000 took to the start line. But at the head of the race, the elite women's peloton will be contending for the win and precious UCI points. So this is a race with real kudos, UCI 1.1 status now as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's a really important race for the girls who are looking at the Olympics, and yeah, it's great that it's been given that designation.
Well, we're just excited to be here and, you know, just to represent TIPCO SVB just way over here in South Africa. It's most of our first time in South Africa and Africa in general. So we're just like really excited, and, you know, it's just like an honour to be here at the first UCI 1.1 race that they've ever had.
Yeah, it was a very early start, so we were up at just after 3 a.m. trying to force down breakfast. So yeah, great atmosphere, lots of people arriving, so it should be a good race.
Yeah, well, I think it is a hard course, no long climbs, but up and down all day. So I think it's important to monopolize and to use all the climbs to stretch the legs. And then, yeah, it's got a hard finish with 3 small climbs in the last 20 Ks. So, yeah.
A breakaway of 4 riders formed, with Kakelhofer, Venter, Stultians and Moolman Pasio building up a lead of over 40 seconds. But then, disaster for the home favourite. Moolman Pasio crashed at high speed descending. Once she was back on her bike, the fight had to start again. Luckily, she had her teammates around her.
I think we will fight really hard because Ashleigh deserves the win as much as no one else, and we will fight for her and give everything.
Maybe we can give ourselves more pain, and which means it's harder for the others, and we will make the race as hard as possible, and we will see what we will get at the end.
Well, crossing the finish line, I must say I was overcome with emotion because today's been a tough day for me. A few challenges along the way, but I'm really happy to have pushed through, and I couldn't have done it without the support of my amazing Biglas teammates. So really, really happy to take the win.
It's been wonderful to watch her racing. We don't often see her racing because she's always in Europe, and it was nerve-wracking, especially after we found out that she'd fallen. But we just held thumbs that she would come through, and we're very proud that she had the tenacity to pull herself through the race and to win solo. It was brilliant.
That's it for this time. What a fantastic year it's been. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back in the new year with much, much more at the start of a new season.